My dear friends, I hope you are all well. I wish you a peaceful day in the Lord. Throughout his journey of preaching, Jesus often told parables to vividly illustrate his teachings. A parable is an illustrative story in which a specific, familiar idea is used to convey a more profound and abstract concept through the analogy of these two ideas. Jesus told numerous parables to the crowds following him during his preaching journey, but the most impactful one to me is the parable of the prodigal son. The parable of the prodigal son is found in the Gospel according to Luke, chapter 1511-31. In this parable, there's a man who had two sons. The younger son asked his father for his share of the inheritance, left home, and squandered all his wealth in a far-off land. When a severe famine struck, he found himself in dire circumstances, working as a swineherd and even longing to eat pig's food. He then decided to return to his father's house, acknowledging his wrongdoings and asking to be treated as a servant. However, his father welcomed him with open arms, celebrating his return and forgiving his mistakes. This parable teaches us several important lessons. Firstly, it highlights the compassionate nature of God as a loving Father. God doesn't confine us within limitations, but grants us the gift of freedom. This freedom becomes the most precious gift given to us from the moment of our creation. God provides us with everything we need to live our lives freely, to make choices in life, even in the face of sin. God allows us to journey freely but always watches over us, eagerly waiting for our return. Secondly, we all make mistakes as humans, but some have the courage to stand up, leave their past errors behind, and move forward. However, some are burdened by guilt and shame, preventing them from moving forward. For Catholics, we believe in the mercy of God. Even when we stumble and fall, God does not condemn or judge, but awaits our return. If you ever feel overwhelmed by shame, find solace in reaching out to the divine presence you believe in, pouring out your heart and sharing your feelings. I believe that the divine will offer solace and healing, without reproach, soothing your soul. Lastly, we should not claim to be holier than others, and if we cannot forgive those who have repented for their mistakes, we shouldn't cause further harm to their souls. Just as we all have a past, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. God's light shines upon every corner of the world, whether deep in the valleys or high on the mountains. In conclusion, I want to share that God, the loving Father, grants us the freedom to choose the path of goodness aligned with our spiritual journey. If you find yourself burdened by guilt, know that God's compassion is there to ease your pain. And remember, no matter our past, we all have the potential for a bright future.